What is the culture? To me, it's expression, it's the cool, it's the power, it's diversity, it's a voice, it's collaboration and the ability to envision something and bring it to life. To build something beyond us and to solve problems. Culture is the future and most importantly, it's the youth. I feel like if we're going to talk about the culture and the youth, I can't be the only voice for the voiceless. So here's a stage, here's the mic, let's talk.
Sometimes I'm not good with my words, but maybe I'm good with my art. And my art speaks about my mental health. And when I then speak or tell people about my work, I'm in essence talking about my mental health.
Firstly, you need to understand that not everyone is gonna like you.
But the real question still stands. Is the youth really happy? Well, find out in this episode of Culture Conversations by Sports Scene with Zoleka Monta. Today, we have amazing creatives in the building who will also be shedding some light on mental health and wellness in the creative industry. Dali, may you please introduce yourself for the people who don't know you?
Hi, my name is Dali, aDnger, the most dangerous man in the world. Yeah, so I'm a musician, content creator, influencer. Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm hpit. I'm a singer, songwriter. I make R&B, trap soul music. Yeah, just an all-round creative.
Hi, what's up guys? I am Misha, go by Misha Algangaz on Instagram, and I'm a visual artist, conceptual photographer, and creative director. Just all-round creative, doing everything that comes to my mind, I guess.
Asics is a brand that continues to inspire people to be mindful not only of their minds, but also of their bodies. Which brings me to my first question, and I'll start with you, Michelle. What defines mindfulness to you?
I think mindfulness it's a really big concept, and I think everyone has their own definitions of that. But I think for me, it's just a calm state of mind and being proactive with my mind. I think as artists, I'm sure all of us, we face a lot of challenges. We face writer's block. I'm sure you guys get that. For me, it's ideation block and stuff like that. And sometimes when my mind is too busy, when I'm on too many jobs, I can't be creative. So I think just having good routines and trying to calm my mind down so that I can be the creative I know I am. I think that's the most important thing about being mindful and mindfulness for me.
Cindy, on your side?
For me, mindfulness is definitely knowing how I want to react in certain situations and just being in control of that. So instead of reacting as I usually do, I like to kind of ascribe labels to my emotions and then be mindful of how I want to react in situations after that.
To me, mindfulness is just having peace, peaceful state of mind, working, releasing art, taking care of my family and my friends, because I'm big on taking care of the people around me. So that brings me mindfulness.
Yes. In your respective industries, what are some of the challenges that you feel like creatives in your industry face? Some of the mental struggles.
I think for me, it's just expectations more than anything else. I think once maybe you gain a little bit of popularity or you start doing well in what you do, I think people, I think with social media, have expectations of who you should be. And you kind of have to have this image, people also only know you for your online persona. It's Dali aDnger, it's hpit, it's Misha Algangaz. But at the end of the day, we're also I'm Misha Algangaz.
100.
And I'm my own person, but to people in public, they only know me as this photographer, this conceptual artist, as this, but I also I have a family, I have friends, I have a cat. There's so much more to me that is, and I think those expectations are really intense, and keeping up with social media, or if I don't post or if I don't work, I'm gonna fall short and I'm not gonna get that next gig.
Very true.
Someone else is gonna take that photo, or someone else is gonna do that album artwork, and I think it's just keeping up with social media and keeping up with people's expectations. It's really taxing. And for me, I'm not really that good on social media. I'm not that proactive, so sometimes I miss a gig because I don't reply to a DM, or I am too busy with other stuff that it gets really intense.
Yeah.
So I think expectations are really one of the big things that hurt like mental health within the creative industry from like my perspective.
My turn.
Yeah, you can just jump in, you know.
I agree with that. And I think it filters into my point of living a lifestyle that you may not necessarily be living at the moment.
Yeah.
But I think like, especially for musicians, I think you kind of have to flash stuff that you may not necessarily have, or kind of keep up appearances.
Yeah.
And it takes its toll on your mental, because you're also projecting something that is not
100.
what you personally may agree with, but it's what you need to do. And it just causes that like noise in your head. So I think definitely just the need to sometimes be something that you're not can make you a little bit crazy.
I think Cindy's right, because the expectations just being on social media always, you know, I am a big social media person, but I try to spend as little time as possible on things like Instagram, Twitter. Twitter is very toxic, you know. So the expectations of being a creative in this era of digital spaces is very tough. Being on social media 24/7,
100. I love that you touched on that, because it takes me to my next question. Do you think that like fame or like being an influencer on Instagram with a lot of followers or on YouTube can like do some damage to your mental health?
Yes. I definitely think it can, because some of the people, let's say 10,000 people follow you.
Yeah.
A good 50 people follow you just to hate, you know?
Yeah.
But no matter what you do, no matter how good, how bad, people will always find something negative to say.
Trolls are a real thing.
People will just troll you for no reason at all, just because it makes them feel better about their own lives, you know? So it definitely does.
Yeah, and in what way, like, if you guys can expand, you know, for people who don't know, who are not in the creative industry, trying to understand. Because I know with social media, Instagram, for instance, like, you can be addicted to checking the number of people viewing your stories and your videos. So, like, to what extent can that, even in music, you know, like being in front of big crowds all the time,
streams
it could
as
get
well,
to
and like, numbers like that are scary.
Numbers, right?
Yeah, it's numbers.
It's the numbers
really,
that kill.
it's like followers, likes, views, streams. Like, these are all things that I think affect mental health, and because I think the way everything is built now, it's like if you're not getting a certain like a number of likes, or you're not doing well, or this, and I think that's how it's embedded in us, but that's not the case. At the end of the day, I think more than anything, we should be creating the art for ourselves and for the release of that, and like our own artistic expression.
100.
Yeah.
100.
And if people like it, then they like it, you know, and
if they
everything
don't,
else comes with it. Yeah.
And even in the real world, not everyone's gonna like you. So, Yeah. Cindy, I'm gonna come to you, because I know you and Dali are in like the music industry, rap industry. What do you think are some of the things that cause creatives, let me not say music or whatever, cause creatives in general, but mostly in the music industry, to like fall deep into drugs and like alcohol addiction?
Oh, damn. One thing I would say is the environment in which music is made, or even just creativity comes about. A lot of people obviously like to drink and smoke and stuff like that. And so when you put a whole bunch of people in the same space where they're not really there to get to know each other, they're just kind of there to draw creativity from each other and stuff like that, you kind of want to break the ice by being lit, or like by, you know, getting everybody in a very comfortable vibe. I think where people then tend to fall off after that is like when you go home afterwards, you continue by yourself, and then it's like, well, everybody else is doing it, so I may as well. And all your gigs are at night, and all your gigs are in the club, and like even being in those situations, a lot of the time, I felt like in the beginning of my music career, if I wanted to meet people, I had to go out, and going out meant going to the club. Now I'm like lit at the club, everybody's lit at the club, and like this is how you make friends. And it's like afterwards you go home and you follow each other on Instagram, but you guys don't really hang out for lunch or anything. Like all you guys, the only thing that brings you guys together is substances. And then, just kind of the loneliness that comes with it as well. It feels very easy to, silence the noise with these kinds of substances. It's just so easily accessible in the industry that it's so easy to fall victim. It's so easy. And I think another thing that people forget is a lot of creatives are very vulnerable people, very emotional people,
very sensitive.
and people who are really looking for ways to express themselves. And sometimes that expression comes out in a very different way. So it's a product of the environment, I think.
Like other thing that I wanted to touch on is the fact that sometimes you get booked for an event or in the club, and then you tell them that my booking fee is this much. They're like, okay, we're willing to pay you this portion, and then we'll compensate with the rider.
With the rider.
Yeah, so I think things like the riders also, they play a big role.
Yes.
You find yourself not drinking, but now they gave me this expensive bottle.
Alcohol.
Let me just drink it, you know? Yeah, so I think that also plays another part. And like Cindy said, when you're creating, when you're in the studio, it's always a vibe, you know? You wanna be with the people you want to be on the same level as everyone else.
Frequency.
So I think alcohol does play a big role in the creation of.
I think it's even a networking thing. Like someone will tell you like, yo, let's have a drink. You're at the club. Let me buy you around. Let me do this. And you feel like you have to have that drink because this person works at this place and it could get me here and like I have to take this drink or I have to buy this person a drink. And it becomes like an easy networking thing. But like you said, like it doesn't lead to much sometimes. And
it doesn't. It really doesn't. I think also I've heard like some creatives say, I do this drug because I want to be more creative. Is there even such a thing? Like,
I think that's also sometimes is excuses as well of like not being able to like be within themselves to be able to pull that out. And I think it's really that like sitting with yourself to be able to pull that creativity out from your own inner self other than using a substance to pull it out.
I'm going to jump into my next question, which is on, like you guys have already touched on it, the nice thing, cancel culture and trolls on social media. Like I think that could be something scary for a lot of creatives to like put out their work because you don't know how people will react to it. What if they troll you? What if they say your work sucks? Try another career or your raps suck, that type of thing. So how do you guys as creatives protect yourselves and your mental health in such situations and when you're putting out your art?
I think firstly, you need to understand that not everyone is gonna like you. You know? Like there's a quote that I come across every once in a while. It says you may be the nicest person in the world. But some people just don't like peaches. You know, so there'll always be someone who's gonna not like you or hate the stuff that you do.
100.
Yeah, so I think that's one thing you need to prepare yourself for. And then everyone faces backlash once in a while. You know? I mean, we all humans, we all make mistakes. So when that thing comes, when a group of people attack you, you just need to, I guess, you just need to remind yourself that, hey, dog, this is not the end of the world. There's still a tomorrow. I can bounce back from this. I can fix this. You know. So I think you mustn't let it get to you.
And I think it's also remembering it's not for those people. Those are the people that won't have the connection to it, and it's 100. Not for them. It's the people that actually like enjoy your stuff, and it's for yourself. At the end of the day, like you release that work to put it out for yourself. You know,
to express yourself. Very important.
And it's not for the haters.
True.
I think I've personally never really had an issue with people hating on me because I feel like if you have hate in your heart for somebody else, it's coming from a personal hatred kind of thing. Like I would never exact hatred or envy or jealousy on someone else if I didn't feel a certain way about myself or, intimidated by this person in any way, shape or form. Like if you really think about it, why do you hate me? And if you can't really answer that question, then, I mean, that's a you issue. It's not a me thing. But I think just remembering that, like, if someone chooses to be ill-willed towards you. It's never about you. Like, it really never is about you. It's always about that person sitting on the other side of a screen. And that's it. Like, that's where they'll leave it. Yeah, because a lot of the time also you'll find in the industry that people who you know were talking down on you, when you meet them in real life, hey, we should go for lunch. And it's
biggest fans of you. And when something big happens for you, they're like,
so proud.
Those haters are sometimes the first ones. Like,
exactly.
To be proud of you and
To be like, hey, can you get me? Do you have tickets when you're performing somewhere? Do you think you can get me in? Blah blah blah. But it's like, girl, you know. So just remember that, like, it's actually never about you. Like, you're here doing something, and the fact that you're out here doing something is more than enough, and it will always be more than enough.
100%.
Always remember your why, why you do it.
Yeah, choose peace every day.
Choose
every
peace
single
every day.
time.
100. Over the years, like in the industry in general, we've seen a lot of like suicides from like artists, and you know, do you guys think that there are any methods that like can be adopted to deal with this pandemic, help artists with their mental struggles within the creative community?
I think more than anything is just having more open conversations like this, and like showing people that it's okay to have feelings and to feel real things, and that sometimes life gets tough. And you don't have to be, like we spoke earlier, this person or this expectation on social media. You know, like people, like they're going to be the haters and there's going to be this, but like we're all real people. And I think deep down, everybody understands that. And I think sometimes all of us are too caught up in what the facades of ourselves are on social media that we don't really show what that is. And I think just seeking out for help, like it doesn't have to be on social media, but just within your circles, and surrounding yourself with like a close-knit family and people. Not everyone does have that, but I think just being open to the conversation and having more opportunities and more spaces like this to have these conversations and show like that we all feel shit more than anything else. We all go through stuff. Like we've all like been through some stuff, some real stuff. It hasn't been an easy like few years on the industry as well. Like I think more than anything right now, we've lost a lot of people within the industry, and some of that was also due to mental health. Now more than ever, it's important to have those conversations. 100. Like we've lost legends because of this stuff, and it's so important, just from the smallest of person to the biggest of artists, that these conversations are like open and real.
100.
That's true. I think we should all be more honest and more open. But I feel like for me personally, it's about a support structure. You know, if it wasn't for my friends, if it wasn't for my family, I wouldn't be as open and as strong as I am today. You know, because waking up every day and choosing to continue is very tough.
It's very hard.
It's very tough.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like, do I really need to do this? You know?
And I think as creatives, sorry to cut you off there, like, sometimes like I know for us, like sometimes we work for ourselves, and like getting out of bed is not an easy thing.
No, it's not.
There's no job, there's no 9 to 5. Like if I choose to work today, I'm gonna make some money, maybe I'm not
gonna make it.
But like there's no one like pressurizing me and that I have to run to. And I think that's a tough thing. So I think it's also just being proud to be here, proud to get out of the bed and like do your thing.
100.
Man, I think many things about mental health, especially in South Africa. The biggest thing for me is that I believe that everybody should tackle the issues of their childhood, because that's where a lot of our habits form, and that's where a lot of our reactions in adulthood come from. That's where a lot of our perspective is formed. So I think it should just be an important topic for everybody to encourage each other to foster better relationships with, authority figures that we might have in our lives, to maybe go over childhood traumas and really heal from them, so that you can present yourself as a more whole human being. Another thing is the things that we attach our happiness to, like we were saying with the streams and with the likes. And if you attach your happiness and your level or your measure.
Asics is a brand that believes in the positive benefits of the movement of body, but not only the body and the mind as well, which brings me into my second segment. What are some of like the daily practices that you guys do in order to keep sane and balanced in your respective industries?
So for me, like something that I've adopted in the last 2 years, I think since COVID, which was like a really intense time mentally, has been yoga and tea. I know it's really random, but so I generally try and do yoga most days, like when I have the time or when I don't have an early call time. Yoga and like I've just, because I don't drink as much coffee anymore, because it also just gives me the shakes and the anxiety. But tea's been like a really big thing, and I got really into like tea brewing and like teapots. So I have a few teapots, I have different tea leaves, and I always do like loose leaf tea. And I think it's just like a very like therapeutic process of like making that. And like I'll sit and I'll maybe read, and it's just like a calm morning more than anything else. I think is a big thing. Like I think for creatives, like once we get into it, we get in and we lock in, you know. And I think the hardest thing is just getting into that creative process and having that calm morning and having that good start to the day. Like it's means your day is going to be a success.
100.
So yeah, that's for me definitely a good morning start, just calm, like meditative morning, and get the day going.
Oh, for me, I would say journaling has been something that I adopted. Yeah, I don't journal every day. I try to, but just to also have a space that's my own where I can write down the events of my day and how I'm feeling and stuff like that. Yeah, I've always been like someone who believes very much in the benefits of writing down your thoughts. Yeah, and just also having somewhere to come back to later on in life. I was telling my friends that I started journaling on my laptop a year ago. On the 29th of May, something like that. And then I read my journal entries like a year apart, and it's such a completely different person. And it's nice to see that like I might have been in the trenches for a little bit, but like it literally takes a year for your mindset to change or for you to employ things, you know, to change your life a little bit, change your lifestyle. Yeah, so journaling.
And I think what's nice about journaling is it's also a nice place to reference your emotions. Because maybe like in your writing or in an art piece or something, you know, sometimes it's nice to look at your journal entries and actually see where those emotions that you've put into it have come from.
100.
I think also exercising is very important, like taking a jog, taking a walk, hiking is very important. I get to think whenever on my walks or my jogs, you know, get to think about a lot of things, get to release a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, you know. So yeah, I think exercise is one of the most important things. And gaming, gaming, because whenever I game, I don't think about anything, you know. I forget about the stress, I forget about life, I forget about money problems. It's just my happy place and I'm in the zone. So gaming is a very big thing for me.
100. I agree with all you, and I think it brings me to my next question. What is the importance of exercising and eating healthy in having like a proper well-being?
I think it's just comes down to like healthy body, healthy mind. I think that's the biggest thing. I know we've been told that for years, but it's such a big thing. Like eating bad affects my mental health. Like if I'm not exercising, I'm not doing yoga, if I'm eating junk or if I'm doing that, like I can't focus. My body doesn't feel great. I don't want to create. I just want to slug. And like, I know if I skip breakfast, I know the rest of my day is going to be a little bit messed up. It's going to be shaky. My mind's not going to be thinking straight. Then I'm having to grab something on the go, on the way.
And it's already quick.
Yeah, it's already fast food. And it just, I think it doesn't help at all mentally.
100.
Yeah. And I think even just sometimes taking the time to cook a meal, it's therapeutic on its own.
Yeah.
You know, it's a time to get away, it's to calm down, and then you get to enjoy that, and very important.
I agree. I think even if you're not like vigorous in your exercise or like you're like, doing weight training and stuff like that, just to take the time to appreciate your body as well and be like, yo, thank you for keeping on every single day kind of thing. Give it a break, give it some water, drink some water kind of thing. Like just taking time to also realize that your body doesn't work for you. Like you are this body. You have to take care of your vessel. Yeah.
100.
Yeah. I wanted to say that sometimes also, instead of driving to the shops, you need to like take a walk to the shops. I think that's very important. Even drinking water and drinking enough water in a day is very important, Yeah.
In my experience of like exercising and eating healthy, for the times I've done it, because I'm not perfect, but the experience I feel maybe after doing yoga or eating healthy, I just feel alive. Like I feel alive. And one thing I've seen about exercising or maybe going to the gym like continuously, it builds your lifestyle to be more organized
100%.
and more balanced, right? So that like your mind is not running because you know that you've done you have a plan. I mean, you prep your meals, you go to the gym at this time you have to be there. So already your mind is more chilled because you've planned out your day and your everything. So Cindy, I've listened to your music a lot, and I know most of your songs have a lot of affirmations, and please tell us more about the power of speaking positively or creating anything in general that is positive.
Oh, okay. So I'm of the huge belief that words have power. Definitely. The things that you say determine the course of your life. The things that you listen to, the media that you consume and stuff like that. So, and also it's just like, I think it's kind of like your name. Like, you know how people say the meaning of your name is what permeates throughout your entire life. Like, that's what you become. So if people are singing my music, I feel like to some degree they're speaking those words onto my life as well. Like whatever I put out, that is me directing the course of my life. So yeah, when I make music, I try my best to put stuff in the music that I would want confirmed for me on a daily basis. Or like for when people are listening to this music, I want them to feel the healing that comes with it. Like, yeah, I just believe that the things that you say, the things that you speak vibrate on a certain frequency, and we vibrate on different frequencies. And whenever you tap into those frequencies, that's what you begin to radiate out to other people. So I think it's very important to just put stuff in your music that you want to be in your life, because that's kind of where you'll find yourself. Yeah.
For me, it's also just sometimes being vulnerable as well and showing that vulnerability. Like a lot of the times when I create pieces or I create art or whatever it might be, like, especially if I have a personal connection, it's likely because I'm trying to tell a story or something that I'm experiencing, 100. Especially when I'm using myself as the subject. I think it's really important to do that. It makes me vulnerable, and sometimes I'm not good with my words, but maybe I'm good with my art, and my art speaks about my mental health. And when I then speak or tell people about my work, I'm in essence talking about my mental health. And I find that's a great medium to have that conversation, because as myself, I struggle to have that conversation, but my art allows me to do that.
I think more than anything, I'm inspired by the now, I like telling stories about now. I like creating videos around what's happening in my life right now. So if I'm going through depression, or like I have a song called Anxiety, because at the time of my life I was going through the most anxiety I've ever felt, So I decided to make that song, and with that song it helped me overcome the anxiety, I mean, I still do have anxiety now, but I'm better than I was when I made that song. Yeah. So sometimes expression is a form of healing.
100. I love that you actually said that, because I was going to ask you guys, like, what are creative ways in which people can find therapy? For me, for instance, when I'm painting, I'm not saying I'm a painter, but when I'm painting, I feel most at peace. It heals literally everything. So what are some of like the creative ways in which people can express themselves?
I think for me, it's like what I mentioned now, is just sometimes putting myself into my art more than anything else, and taking what I'm feeling and allowing that to make the outcome of the piece. Whether it's a photograph or conceptual piece or whatever, it's just throwing myself head like first into that and allowing that the piece to be my emotion, whatever I'm going through at the moment, maybe something I went through. And like, I urge people to do that. Like, sometimes, you know, everyone's got lots of ideas and stuff, but sometimes it's important to reflect first and look at what you're feeling and then put that into something and use that energy, you know, instead of letting it consume you, take it and put it into like an outcome.
I would say dancing is a really great way to like release and like what's the word, like intense feelings. Dancing is very cool. I like dancing, even though I'm not saying I'm a dancer.
TikTok, you know.
You gotta hit the TikTok.
So there's a lot of ways, you know, like writing, making music, making songs that you'll never drop is also very important. You know, because some songs, like I said, are there to help you move on. You know, so do as much as you can. You know. I recently started teaching myself how to do 3D animations. So learn more things, learn new things, you know, read books. Just find more creative ways of expressing yourself because you never know what the future holds.
Like taking a cold shower.
Yeah, I don't know if that's creative, but yeah.
Apparently it helps with something.
Yeah.
You know? Do you guys take cold showers?
Nah.
I used to.
It helps.
There's like Wim Hof. It's a Wim Hof method, and like it's supposed to wake you up. But like you train your body to be able to like withstand it. And the more you do it, the better you become at it.
Need to try it even more.
I'm good.
I'm also good. I'm good with that
I
one.
think winter's the time to start.
Not winter, no, never. I've been looking at your cakes. And
Thank you.
Damn, they so cute. What are those called?
The gel Kayanos.
14.
14.
Yes.
Yeah, they're really hard. Like, I love them. They match my vibe. Like, I wear a lot of silver, so it's perfect. Like, I'm really digging them. I know Dali's had his eye on them.
I'm gonna need them, bro. I'm gonna need them.
I love them. They're mad comfy also. Like, literally throw them on with anything, so.
No, these shoes are coming soon. So if you're looking into buying them, please get a pair. I think I need a pair for myself. Do I have a size? Okay, I'll find out. I'll find out. Yeah. And we've come to the end of our show. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to our lovely guests for joining us. And most importantly, thank you to Asics